And we are back. Appreciate y'all for being here. Love y'all to pieces. We doing all right, so we ain't gonna ask about it, but we're gonna break down the New Orleans Saints here. We're gonna break down the offense today. Bryan Broaddus, shouts out to you, sir, for watching the film. I watched a little bit of film too. Boy, I was perplexed about some of the things that I saw. I was interested, and I was trying to figure out some of the balance when we're trying to do our breakdowns and analysis here, Bryan.
Yeah.
And we can kind of take turns taking the lead here, but let me just kick it off.
I was curious. You know what?
Please,
my brother, start this thing off.
Okay.
I'm curious what, when you said perplexed, and I, what, you used that word, and I felt the same way with the Saints.
Yeah.
And I felt, it's a lot different from the Sean Payton and in those days, this Clint Kubiak. He's these kids that do the San Francisco and the
Shanahan
and the Ram stuff. Yeah, man. I tell you what, they are they got something going on.
Yep.
Motion behind motion. And all. I mean, it's kind of a fun thing to watch. But perplexed. Give me why you were perplexed.
So I think the first thing that I had to figure out, and the games that I watch, is Carolina from last Sunday, but I even had to go last year to just kind of figure out some of the things that
personnel,
were personnel stuff. And the first thing I had to realize is, okay, how bad is Carolina as I'm breaking this thing down, right? Like, how bad are those guys?
That hurts you a little bit, yeah.
That'll throw a little monkey wrench in there, right? And if you look at last year's film, scheme is like nothing the same, right? Now they're getting rid of the ball quicker, quick outs and stuff, a whole bunch of play action. They're running the football. Alvin gets a bunch of carries. Taysom Hill, strangely enough, he is doing Kyle Juszczyk things, Bryan Broaddus. He's lining up at receiver. He's lining up at fullback. He's playing quarterback, running back. He's done a little bit of everything. Maybe Hunter Lipke will do something like that for you in the future. But they can run the ball really well, or at least they ran the ball really well on Carolina. And that's what I was trying to find balance for, right? So I went to go look up Carolina's defense, and we know Derrick Brown, he can give you some problems. And then they got Clowney over there. Well, he was number 7, and I guess they were just able to move some of the rest of those guys. But Fuaga, the left tackle, pretty damn good run blocker. When I watched him in college, so in my mind, maybe that's translating here. Trevor Penning was the left tackle. He should be on the bench somewhere, but we'll talk about finding him later. But he's the right tackle now. Ruiz, who was a center for Michigan, now he's your right guard. I watched both those guys last year and this year, and it seems like they can run the football. It seems like they don't pass protect the best, but they get rid of the football quickly, and off of that run, a gang of play action fakes, double motion, like you said, Bryan Broaddus, and it doesn't really seem like they test you deep a bunch, but when they do test you deep, that's when they score. So it'll be a deep pass up the seam to Shaheen 22, or it'll be like a deep pass to the right corner or whatever, and that's when they score. But besides that, a bunch of quick stuff and a bunch of yak. So in my mind, I don't know if Carolina can't tackle. I don't know if their run defense is bad. I don't know if they don't rally very well. I don't know if Carolina's fast. New Orleans looks fast. Last year's film didn't look fast with similar personnel, but they look faster now. Olave didn't do very much last week, but I thought Olave was going to do a lot more. He'll possibly do a little bit more with us, but Shaheen, and they really revolve a bunch around Taysom Hill. I don't think Derek Carr gonna beat you too bad by himself, but control the line of scrimmage and make Derek Carr throw uncomfortably. I think you'll have some success. But my biggest issue, Bryan, was I didn't know how bad Carolina was.
Man, I think you're spot on with your assessment of the team. The thing you just, they always say you got to evaluate the schedule, whatever it is. The games, or certain games. I mean, sometimes when you and I are doing college tape, we'll fight like hell for Florida State not to have to watch against, no offense, directional school from Louisiana or directional school from Michigan, or any one of those. You got to watch the tape. And Carolina is the first opportunity. The thing that was what I kind of gathered from, and I think you're right on, I think they're pretty balanced with the personnel groups. 11 personnel, the 12 personnels, but there was a mix of the 21, which is the 2 running backs, 1 tight end mix. And the 49ers, I was like, man, how much 21 personnel are they playing in this game?
Yeah.
And only this past weekend, only the 49ers and the Dolphins played more 21 personnel than what the Saints did. So that kind of tells you a little something. But what's interesting about the Saints, and you hit this right off the jump, they ran the ball well, whether they were in 11 or 21. It was still coming at over 5 yards a clip. Alvin Kamara, and they play under center. I was amazed of how, we're so used to watching opponent tape, and and it's all shotgun, the whole game shotgun. And I was thinking, well, gosh dang, I'm watching this game and they're playing under center.
Yeah.
Look it up. What do you find? 61% of the time they're playing under center. Why are they playing under center, Bryan? Because of the way they want to get the ball to Alvin Kamara. They don't want to hand it to him sideways. Remember DeMarco Murray?
Yep.
Remember DeMarco Murray? When DeMarco Murray had to play sideways, wasn't as good a player.
Yeah.
But when DeMarco Murray played downhill, and Alvin Kamara, I think, is a more explosive player than DeMarco Murray. And maybe I don't know. That might be too much of a statement.
No. You're right.
But I just felt like with Kamara, you hand him the ball playing sideways, that's not his cup of tea. You walk the ball to him, allow those linemen to come off and get where they need to get, and then hand him the ball and let him make the cuts from that. That's where Alvin Kamara is gonna do some good. You mentioned about Taysom Hill. How many times we all remember a game in New Orleans on a might have been a Monday night or a Sunday night, one of those things where Taysom Hill started the game at quarterback for the Saints. And, you're like, Dak Prescott versus Taysom Hill. Okay, you're going to win this one.
Easy money.
Better quarterback. But, with Sean Payton, there was always that threat of the Wildcat. Taysom Hill, snap to him, direct snap, run, I think I saw one rep of that this week where he was playing as the Wildcat. But he plays fullback. They hand him the ball as a halfback. So he's still in that mix, but it's not as much as what we used to see with Sean Payton, where Sean Payton would get in the Wildcat and then, okay, here we go, direct snap, just power the ball that way.
Yeah.
They don't do that. They don't do that. And what you mentioned with Kubiak as the coordinator, the motion on top of the motion. I think they ran 62 plays. 49 of those 62 involved some type of motion. That's around about 79%.
Yeah.
35 of those percent, I looked this up because I was curious again, because I'm like, man, it looks like a lot of motion. 35 of the 49 motions they had involved movement at the snap. Well, okay, who's one of the best movement at the snap teams in the league? San Francisco.
Yeah.
They will wear you out moving that tight end. They will wear you out moving one of those receivers. They will wear you out with Juszczyk moving. And what do? They move a guy to get him in position to block, or and Foster Moreau, the tight end for the Saints, is kind of their move guy. They got a couple of him and Prentice, I think, is the fullback.
Yep.
And
46.
And they use them as like, okay, motion. Now they get him in motion out in the flat. And then what do? They run a motion behind that with Kamara. Now they got Kamara in the flat with blockers throwing him the ball. So, yeah, I think you're going to show me. Look at this, man. You're great at doing this stuff. There you go. You get the motion, and now, there's Taysom Hill running the football right there, but with like a fullback is what it is with what he was doing. But you get all kinds of. I can't tell you how many times it looked like that Kamara was like it was motion across again to make sure that, you know, they got the guy in position to, you know, take advantage of that. But, you know, these wide receivers, Chris Olave, not a big factor in the game the other day. But what they like to do is they get into that trips formation. You know, they'll motion to, they'll get to trips formation. They'll scatter. We saw that in Green Bay, you know, where all of a sudden you got a bunch of guys and they scatter and now you're losing guys. But, you know, Dallas played a lot of man coverage last year. Yeah. You know, you got to sort all that stuff out. So I kind of was just looking at Olave and I'm saying, okay, where does he line up the majority of the time? They put him in the slot. They put him on the outside. He's going to play on the outside, but in this game against the Panthers, he was outside right, offensive outside right, defense left. So I don't know if this is something that they've kind of figured out that, like, listen, we want Olave running routes from the right side of the offense and not the left side of the offense.
Yeah,
is what. But here you go again, motion across, and then oh, there we go. Good job. Voch, you're brilliant. You're gonna see it like the motion and then another motion. This is textbook stuff. Look what the motion does. Okay, if you stop it right there, please. Okay, if you stop it, the motion. Look at it. Okay, stop it right there. Thank you. I appreciate you doing that. Okay, there's the motion across to set. They're gonna get a blocker there. Now here's the motion again. Stop it right there. Look what it did to that linebacker. Look at the linebacker. Look at the linebacker to your left. See him move? Look where this ball is going to go. Watch where this route ends up.
Right behind
they move
him.
the linebacker, and they throw the ball right behind where that linebacker was.
Mm-hmm.
Move him. They create a window, and now throw it right behind where he was.
Yeah,
that's really nice stuff.
Yeah.
I appreciate you pulling that. So that's the kind of stuff that you're going to see. You're going to see a movement and maybe another movement.
Mm-hmm.
Good job by Carolina playing that one. But this is these young coordinators, San Francisco trained, Rams trained, are being very creative with how they run the ball and then how they create opportunities to put blockers in position. It's cool to watch.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want them to do it to you all the time. And Mike and them will have their hands full with some of their stuff, but I think Dallas's personnel is better up front.
Sure.
Because I think Ruiz and Penning, and I'm sure we're going to get into those guys here in a second. I think there's a couple of ways that you can kind of attack those guys.
Hey, let's get into it, Bryan, brother. So I had to look it up last year, man. I just couldn't go off this year's number. Right. Trevor Penning, man, it was easy to go find him, Bryan, bros. He's if we had to find one guy, I think he's the one guy that I'm just looking for. So Derek Carr got sacked 31 times last year. So I'm just going through and looking at those sacks, and I think Penning had to be at least Bryan about 6 or 7 of them. So let me see. I may got it right here. Let me see. So Bryan, like, he struggles with everything. You know how we just talk about some of these guys? Oh well, he's the left tackle number 70 right here. So we talk about he struggles with power, or he struggles with feet or something like that. He struggles with hands. Trevor Penning struggles with everything.
Is this Tennessee?
It's Tennessee right here. Yeah. Tennessee had a party with him. Yeah,
Tennessee had a party with him for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, you just, beat his hands, run down the middle of him, run around him. Like, he's getting ate up. This is Carolina last year. Your left tackle, Trevor Penning, but he's the right tackle now. So, I don't know if over the right tackle is going to be Micah's full-time job or something like that, but last week he was mostly over the right tackle on the left side of the defense there. So hey, if I'm Mike Zimmer, I know you want to move Michael around a little bit, but I'm looking for that right guard Ruiz 51, and I'm looking for number 70, the right tackle. I'm glad your film showed that as well. I felt like that. I'm like you. I like Fuaga coming out of college. Mm-hmm. That's a big, powerful guy, good footwork.
they left him by himself quite a bit in that Carolina game. You know, they didn't help him. Like, you know, we talked about, you know, what they were able to do with Guyton and trying to help him.
Sure.
But it was very similar to what the kind of treatment that Steele got, where okay, it's your chance, you know, kid, go play well. And I thought for the most part, Fuaga did a really nice job. But you're absolutely right about the right side of this New Orleans offense, because I feel like that I wasn't particularly shot in the rear over Ruiz.
Yeah,
I know Penny's got his problems, but I wasn't. I kind of felt like I think Eric McCoy is a good center.
Yeah,
I think Eric McCoy is a really, really good center. But man, there seemed like when there was movement, there was problems. Yeah, games problems. You got guys on that right side that don't particularly adjust very well. And on the other side, that Lucas Patrick is banged up with a leg injury. So then now you got Landon Young, who's having to fill in over there. He was okay, but I just kind of feel like, to me, that right side would be the group that I would go after.
Yeah.
Just because I just don't think they move particularly well. And Dallas has got, you put Osa over there, you put Mike over there, you put Tanks. That's, you know, Tank's natural position. You get crowd noise involved now. There's a lot of factors. The one thing, though, the Saints are doing, man, that ball's getting out quick.
Yep.
I mean, they are not interested. But, you know, if you cover, maybe, you know, Mike played a lot of zone. What if Mike plays a lot more man in this game? You know, maybe feels like he can match up. Maybe he has a little bit more confidence in his guys. But then you kind of make them have to fight off the line for some space, and then make Carr hold the ball a little bit longer than he needs to. Yeah, that's where Penny and Ruiz and they'll max protect. And when I say max protect, they'll keep a tight end in or a fullback in to help block. Yeah. But Dallas can create some mismatches with this offensive line. Yeah.
You know, Carolina played a lot of one high safety or whatever, and just what I noticed from Derek Carr is he was just kind of check downy. You know what I mean? He'll, like, if it wasn't underneath stuff, if it wasn't there, he'll just check it down. And if you look at some of the bigger yardages they had, it came from like yak and stuff like that. So in my mind, hey, it's all about the fronts. You know, if you can bring some pressure, if you can rush forward and get a little pressure, and that's basically what we did last week. Like, we would bring extra guys, but we'll be dropping extra linemen out of there, and we'll only bring like 4 guys. If you force Carr to get rid of the ball quickly, I would imagine that that's all short routes, and the Cowboys played the hell out of some damn short routes last week, Bryan. So I think that'll be an advantage for us.
Yeah, you know, ball between the hash, ball inside the numbers. I think Carr was perfect. I think he on the blitzes, I think he only missed, I think he was 8 of 10 on blitzes. You know, it was 8, you know, and he did a fine job of handling that. I think Carolina particularly is a very good blitzing team. But you mentioned about run after catch, and I was curious about Kamara, because Kamara's had a history of being a good, you know, contact, and then, you know, that yak. Yeah. Like, he had 83 yards. I think 42 of it was after contact. Yeah. So, you know, he's just a hard guy to bring down in that way. But the thing is, Carolina let Carr feel comfortable. Sure. There's no reason for him to make mistakes. You know, there's no reason for him to make mistakes if he feels like standing in the pocket making throws. The touchdown pass that he did throw, you know, the touchdown that to Shaheed, you know, he had pressure. He let it fly. The post Shaheed just ran by the guy, you know, and the ball was in a great spot. But you start from the end zone copy, you're going to see the pocket start to squeeze. The pocket's going to start to squeeze on him. And is it right here? Yeah. This is it. Watch what happens. Like, he's going to sit there, and like, they're going to get there, and it starts to squeeze, and he just lets it fly. Yeah. And Shaheed, And, I was talking with Zach Wolchuk, who I work with on 105.3 The Fan, and I guess he the fantasy football stuff, the Shaheed is like a boom or bust kind of guy when you play fantasy football. He's either going to have like a big play or he's not going to do anything at all. So
man, just watching this offense, it is so night and day than it was last year. They just move a little different, and here it is, another motion, and we'll just get it up out of there, right? And I'm just like, man, is this like window dressing, Bryan? Because a lot of the times, we see these Shanahan offenses, and Shanahan runs it best. But a lot of the times, if you can just get past the window dressing, can you beat it? Can you deal with it? Right. And Zimmer notoriously touchdown to the tight end there, Foss Monroe. Zimmer is notorious. Like, he has a reputation around the league for beating the hell out of the Shanahan guys. Right. And I didn't even know that Kubiak was in the Shanahan tree. I just didn't even know. But
Gary Kubiak, his father, played for Shanahan for he was a backup quarterback to Elway for 13, 14 years. So he, that the Shanahans, the Kubiaks, that's thicker than thieves right there. Those two families.
Also too, Bryan, something I want to let my audience know. Derek Carr is not Deshaun Watson. He's not like Lamar Jackson, but he can move around a little bit, and they will move him around the pocket sometimes. And if there is some kind of pressure, there's Jadeveon Clowney beating the hell out of Trevor Penning right there. If there is some kind of trouble, he does move around a bunch, but him moving around, it's not gonna break you like Watson moving around. Like, if Watson's moving around and you're not properly watching him, containing him, then he's a first down machine breaking your back. Carr, if he's on the run, he's trying to find somebody, but a lot of the time it's some type of dump down, it's some type of very short pass. So hey, I think this is another time where bring a little weird look and flush him out, make him uncomfortable. But it just seems like if the Saints offense is in rhythm, if they're on rhythm, then they could give you a hard day. But maybe it's just because we're uncertain about how good we are on defense, and maybe we don't know how good their offense really is because Carolina ain't good. So we'll see.
Yeah, the one thing, that Dallas's offense, and I'm looking forward to sitting down this evening after you and I are done here and looking at some Saints defense for our show tomorrow night. But I'm looking forward to seeing Dallas at home offensively is usually magic. Dak Prescott is, he is usually magic. Dennis Allen will have his hands full with Dak Prescott in this offense. And, at home, and if you could put a lot of points, the Saints scored a lot of points, but, again, that's some, and it's Carolina Panthers. But I kind of feel like, though, this is going to be one of those games where I'm not going to say it's back and forth, because I think Dallas can get some stops. I think Dallas can get some stops on these guys. So that's kind of where I'm planning on. But I do think it's a very different offense with this, and I think they've got Carr feeling very comfortable, feeling very comfortable in it with the quick throws and, hey, don't hold the ball. Don't try and do too much. Just, we're going to motion a guy. We're going to position a guy, throw the ball to him, or just get rid of it. And, so negative play right there, man. That's good. Good negative play there.
So there we go, Bryan Broaddus. And like I said, that last one was just the Olave there. I expect Olave to have a different game, this week than he did last week. Last week he only got like 2 catches, I believe.
2 catches, 2 catches. So Chris Olave's a much better player than that. You're going to have to be ready for him. And Ohio State has done a really nice job. Anybody that follows you and I on the draft and draft shows and things the work that we do, we always talk about Ohio State wide receivers.
Bryan,
Brian Stabline, I think, is the receivers coach there. He played at Ohio State. He's got a great eye for, it seems like every year they're putting 2 or 3 kids in the league. Playing at a very, very high level. So, Olave's right from that tree.
Bryan, last one, just roster wise, right? Do you think the Saints have better personnel offensively than the Browns do? Offensive line, wide receivers, running back, quarterback.
Well, if you said offensive line and the Browns had all their starters, I would say the Browns probably have better offensive linemen. I mean, just if both starters were there, the guards. See, I have the centers and the guards for the Saints. I think is a little bit of the center's a really good player. I think if you had to. The center for the Saints is better than the center for the Browns, better than Posick.
Yeah.
The guards, Batonio and all. I mean, Ruiz has had, his share of mess ups and stuff like that. That we've seen so far. I kind of feel like though the backs, I think you could probably do more with Kamara catching the ball than Chubb. But I'm trying to think, am I messing up by saying that? I think Chubb was just I think Chubb is maybe the running style and all that makes him very difficult to have to deal with.
Sure.
Tight ends, I think probably the Browns better at tight ends than Foster Moreau.
Yeah.
The receivers, man, Olave, Cooper, Judy, maybe the Browns. I mean, it might be a little bit. I know people probably screaming, "Oh, Coop and Olave." Maybe Coop's a little bit better than Olave, when you break it all down, with Judy and when I think that maybe the depth at the Browns is a little bit better than what the Saints have right now.
Sure. Sounds good, Bryan, bro. So, hey, man, I'm anticipating we go out there and beat the hell out the Saints then. Let me see.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this.
Please.
Do you feel like there'll be something? It was interesting what Zimmer said at the podium this week with that he and Micah, he couldn't get to everything he had for Micah.
Sure.
I don't know if that's coach speak. I don't know if he's just planting seeds. I don't know where else Micah can line up. Can you tell me? Because I saw him outside, left and right.
Yeah.
I saw him inside, like almost like a 4 technique inside, maybe like a wide 3.
Sure.
Saw that. I guess we could see him line up. This was one at camp that he got home on Dak one time where they had Kendricks in the A, and then Micah was played almost behind him.
Yeah.
Not up in an A next to him, but Micah played behind him. And then Micah went outside C around Guyton over there. And I wonder if that's something that we might see. Because I don't know. I mean, you could put him left, right, outside, inside. You could stand him up over, you could stand him in the A gap. You could stand him in the B gap.
Sure.
I don't know where else that Mike could maybe rush him off the bench, maybe put him at safety, blitz him from safety.
Well, I think there's a lot of nuance to that, Bryan.
Yeah.
For example, if you're lined up at center, if Micah has his hand in the dirt in front of you, he's a one tech. If he's directly in front of you but standing, he's still technically a one tech.
Right.
But that's different than a linebacker blitzing A gap. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I totally, I was just kind of thinking, if it was me, I would figure out a way to cover McCoy and put Micah one-on-one with Ruiz.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's what I would do. Yeah. That would be my maybe play Osa at the 1 or play somebody at the 1 and play heavy on McCoy so he has to take that guy. And then it gives Mike a one-on-one with Ruiz.
Yeah.
So, but I like what Zimmer's talking about through 1 week. We'll see. You're only as good as you are week 1 to week 2 and all that. Love the fact that they're playing at home.
Yeah.
I think that's a good situation. Playing at the Superdome was a mess.
Yeah.
It's, that could get those fans. But I have a feeling there'll be a lot of Saints fans here at this game.
Sure.
Because of the fact with Katrina and all that. And, a lot of the folks stayed and, hey, good for them. I mean, it's a home now.
On that note, Bryan, I do think that Zimmer has more in store. I hope this is the right button. I'm just gonna hope I got this sound program. Diggs actually said this after the game. If this is Diggs, if I got this button programmed correctly.
Your thoughts on that Zimmer defense game one out here against him?
Yeah, that was just a little sample.
What else could Cowboy fans be in store for?
Man, we got like 50 calls.
Yeah.
We only ran probably like 3 of them.
So I wonder what that means, Bryan. I wonder what the hell that means. You know, so we got a long season ahead of us, Bryan.
Do you kind of feel like I need to ask Mike what his 50 calls are? Maybe I need to reach out to Mike and ask him, hey, your players are saying you got 50 calls, bro. I mean, I looked at that sheet. You got that card in front of you. You have 50 calls on that thing? But yeah, that's. I think the one thing that we'll see with Mike is I think it's going to be week to week, and I don't necessarily, and I say this in a way, I don't necessarily if you'll say, oh, that was something they did against the Browns. Oh, that's something they did against the, I think every week there is going to be something that we weren't thinking about. They are thinking about.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I hope that's the case. But like I say, for 1 week, what do you call him?
Antoine Zimmer. Antoine Zimmer. That's
Michael Antoine Zimmer.
That's his real name.
Got he was riding high. But we'll see. It's going to be a challenge because of all the movement you're going to get, and a quarterback that's playing with a little confidence right now.
Yeah.
So we shall see.
Bryan, I must say that was a phenomenal breakdown of the Saints offense. And look, I'm not just saying that because we work together, but we were really on the same page about a lot of this. And people may think we like rehearsing or something. Nah, I study on my own, Bryan. And we just come to the table.
No, I just always appreciate your opinion on these players and how it breaks down. I'm looking forward to tomorrow when we have an opportunity to talk about the defense. Cowboys at home always seem to have an offensive game plan that's pretty damn good.
Sure.
Quarterback kind of finds a way, unless you're playing Green Bay. That wasn't a very good game plan. But other than that, they usually play pretty well. They usually have a good plan for whoever they're playing. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the Saints played defensively. Yeah. And if, because Cleveland was tough. Cleveland gives you no separation. Cleveland can come after you. They can beat you up front. Their linebacker tackles very well. They've got some talent. This might be a breath of fresh air. Not that the Saints. I'm not saying the Saints aren't good on defense, but after playing Cleveland, this one might be one where you can kind of go, whew,
just a little breath,
because then the Ravens come to town next week,
and that's a tough fight, you
need to find a way. You need to find a way to keep winning these home games.
I must say,
you need to find a way.
I must say, I thought Cam Jordan was going to have a lot more sacks than that. And Marshawn Lattimore is dealing with a hamstring, so we'll be dealing with Kool-Aid McKinstry from Bama and Paulson Adebo from Stanford. That's just, draft guys.
Remember Paulson Adebo?
Stanford,
I kind of liked him.
Got a lot of picks.
Digit. When he wore like number one, when he like number one at Stanford, he wore single digit. But I kind of remember liking him.
Number one, kind of long player. Got hands on the football a bunch. He had like double digit pass deflection, something like that. And he led the Pac-12 and like interceptions or whatever. So yeah, Paulson Adebo was a guy that I liked a bunch. I think he ended up being like a 3rd round guy, I believe. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, that ain't good for them. Well, all right. We'll look forward to tomorrow night. We'll get this defense lined up for everybody and figure out who we need to attack. I appreciate you, brother. Have a good evening, man.
Be sure y'all tap in with Bryan Broaddus on all of his shows. And he may say some of the same things, but he'll say it differently when he's here on the We Doing All Right. Okay, y'all follow me at vochlombardi on Twitter. I'll be saying stuff now that it's football season, and tap in with BRYN Broaddus. He'll be up at 6 in the morning reading your comments on the videos. All right, y'all hold it down. We'll catch y'all next time. We love y'all to pieces. Until tomorrow, Crown.